welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm Bruce Anthony, your host here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that have shaped today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our video podcast. Rate, review, write, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's the Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Jay Andrea. We're going to be talking about spiders, Byron Donalds, and an update on Corey Harris. But that's enough of this horrible intro that I've done. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can call it. That was one of the worst intros, and this was the second take, and we just gonna leave it in. It is what it is.
Just leave it in. I mean, you got like 98% of the words right.
I got 90. I don't know what's going on today. It
That's
might be
an
because of, and 98% is an A. You absolutely right.
So
I got an A. It's passing. Everybody know what we're talking about. They know to write, review, like, comment, share. They know all that stuff.
yes,
If you've been listening to us, and if you're new
if
to the
you've been
show,
listening,
if you're new to the show, hey, normally I do a better intro than that. But what's going on with you?
what's going on with us?
Right.
You sent out a major.
Well, I haven't announced it to everybody else. I just did it. I just put it.
I
in
put
the
it on
family
Instagram.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I wanted to announce it myself, but
sorry.
you know what? That's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we've hit 10,000 subscribers on our YouTube page.
The insanity. Let me be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Can I be transparent?
Be transparent.
I thought, we do this for a little while and then it would sort of peter out.
Mm-hmm.
And we would lose interest and it wouldn't gain any traction because, again, who are we? But
Okay.
for
You right on
some
that.
reason, but for some reason, it's resonating with people, and that is the coolest thing. And we can't wait for the next 10,000. And we're just gonna keep giving you guys great content and getting better and better and listening to feedback. And so, thank you.
Yeah, that's the thing. We are getting better. I listen to the shows every now and then, and we are absolutely getting better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, people are rocking with us. People are really, really rocking with us. We were at 1,700 at the beginning of the year. So that means that we've increased subscribers on our YouTube page by 8,300 people within 6 months.
Yeah.
5 months, because we're in the 6th month. So January, February, March, April, and May, 5 months, we did 8,300 subscribers. So when you say the next 10,000, I think that we're going to hit that before the end of the year.
I can't wrap my mind around that.
People are watching and, they checking us out and, it's kind of cool. Now, I'm surprised that you thought that this was going to be a thing, that we was just going to let it fade to the background, knowing who I am.
No, I mean, I knew we would. Not saying that we wouldn't put our all into it, but I just thought, like, who are we? I don't know. I just don't have an ego about it. Or in fact, I'm self-deprecating about it. And so I think it's really amazing. I'm surprised every day when I check the page and see the lovely comments that
some
on
of them
our
I
video.
love them. Yeah, some of them.
Some of them. The other ones
some.
I respond to. So
there you go.
if you might catch me in them comments. So
you might catch that fade. Yeah, no, I hey, this is cool. You know me though. I'm really
what's next?
Yeah, that's who I am. It's like that's cool. All right.
Well, let's be present. Let's be present.
You're right.
Practice.
You're right.
Yeah.
I take after our father when it comes to this, and it's just like, all right, that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, what's next? So yes, this is really cool, and you've already done something, but I wanted to do like a video of like like you would film a video and I would film a video. You would send it to me. I would edit it, and then we put it on the social media page.
We can still
about
definitely do that.
we can still definitely do that. But
Yeah.
enough about us.
Yes.
Let's talk about something that is also amazing and terrifying.
Yeah. Horrifying.
Spiders in Georgia. So you sent this to me, and what are they called again? Joro?
Joro. Yes.
Joro
Joro. Joro spiders.
So there was a news article written in the Post
Yes.
by Aaron Blankmore.
And that's the Washington Post, not the New York Post.
And we're a little late on this, ladies and gentlemen. This was published all the way back in February 25th of this year. But the Joro spiders are native to East Asia. They have large yellow and black bodies, long legs, and an ability to spin orb-like webs. So kind of think like Spider-Man, just instead of red and black, yellow and black. But they're actually not a man, it's still a spider. Anyway.
And not a hero. They're horrifying.
Well, I don't know if they're heroes or not. They were first confirmed in the U.S. in 2014 in Northeast Georgia and have since spread across the Southeast. The spiders are likely to continue their march across the United States thanks to their ability to adapt to human-dominated environments.
Mm-hmm.
A study published by the journal Anthropodia.
Listen. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, Anthropodia tracked their behavior in Northeast Georgia. The authors argue that part of the spider's success in the United States may turn on their ability to tolerate busy roads. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what that means, but basically is these spiders, they're like, look,
they not scared busy, of nothing.
But we not ducking no cars. You know what I'm saying? They like, look, we here and we're here to stay. So they're all up in your area and they are spreading. They're big, they're scary. And I'm not looking too forward to coming down there and visit you in August.
Listen, so my first encounter with a Joro spider was last summer.
Mm-hmm.
One had spun a web right outside my front door.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you in Northeast Georgia? No, it did say it was spreading all across South.
It started there in like 2014 or 2015, and it's spread throughout the Southeast now.
Yeah, well, they're there. Okay, so it spun a web in your front door.
Yeah. So I took a video of this giant spider, and I had to send it to my friends because I needed to know, should I move? Or can one of y'all come help me? And I don't have a fear of spiders. I don't.
No, you don't. You don't.
But that sucker was big and ugly.
How big is it? I mean, compare it to, like, ladies and gentlemen, my sister sent me the article and it immediately unsended it. Unsent it. Unsent or unsend it?
Unsent.
Unscented because it has a picture of the spider, and I'm afraid of spiders, but I'm only afraid of certain spiders. I'm afraid of like tarantulas. I'm afraid of those big, hairy spiders. So it's not like one of those, right?
No, it's usually, I think they're usually about like an inch and a half, but something like that. But the legs are long. So they're like, to me, that's a big spider. A little spider is one of them little things, you can easily squash it. This was about an inch with legs. And I said, no. And y'all have heard my story so far of the wildlife. And I live in the city of Atlanta. There are woods around
you are the city. Yeah.
Not technically. I am in the city of Atlanta. And
that's what technically means. Technically, yes.
No,
literally.
Technically.
And technically. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yes. Technically. Yes.
I don't. Technically. No, we're not going to get into this. But all
ladies and gentlemen, y'all are getting a small taste of what it's like when me and my sister get together, when we're like side by side and we get into these little debates and our phones, Google stays busy because
because I Googled it.
Yeah. Okay. You Googled it. So what's the answer?
Technically emphasizes that while there is truth to what you are saying, there are other factors that make it untrue. It is not untrue. I do live in the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
So
All right.
literally, not technically. But my house is surrounded by woods. So there's
Mhm.
various wildlife. I didn't even tell you about the chupacabra.
What is that? No, that sounds like some Star Wars. Cabra,
It
that's
is.
Chewie's pet, ain't it?
No.
You
That's
sure?
not what that is. No,
What's a chupacabra?
a chupacabra, it means goat sucker in Spanish.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
basically it's I think it came out of Mexico, like the mythology of it, but it basically is kind of like a vampire, but it's an animal. It kind of looks like a canine. And, it'll go around and killing other animals and sucking their blood, like, farm animals and stuff like that. So there's a chupacabra
Okay.
in
You're
my
exaggerating.
neighborhood.
You're exaggerating.
You would think. I am
Okay.
not.
Are you 100? Is this technically or literally?
Is it literally a chupacabra? No,
Okay.
obviously not.
All right. That's what I'm trying
But
to get at.
if it could be a chupacabra, that if never one existed, that would have been it. My neighbor showed me a picture of it. It is a canine creature. I don't know if it's a dog or a coyote. It has the most severe mange I've ever seen. So it is completely hairless and it's got the scabs all over it and stuff. It's just covered in mange. It was incredibly thin. His dogs were barking. He thought maybe one of my dogs got out. So he went and looked, saw it, and just started snapping pictures of it. And it looks like a chupacabra. So that is lurking somewhere.
Couldn't it just be a sick dog that
Yes.
doesn't have a homeless dog that doesn't have,
But it looked like a chupacabra.
Well, okay, a hairless, sick dog that's malnourished.
Or a coyote.
I don't think a coyote would be out there being malnourished. There's plenty of stuff that it could kill.
Maybe it was just a long, hard winter.
Okay, maybe. I'm sure somebody in the YouTube comments will absolutely tell us exactly what it is and ask us why the hell we wouldn't know what it is. Because you know what? We city slickers. That's the reason why we don't know about the woods. And this is also another example of why this August will be the last time I come down there to visit you. Because whether it's the snakes, now you got the Jojo Walker spiders, and you got Cooper Libre soul-sucking canines running your grounds. No, I'm not.
The lizards.
I didn't even know there was lizards. What lizards?
Yes, lizards. Yeah, there's little lizards that live around the house too. I don't know. Who I look like? Steve Irwin? I don't know about these animals. I just know that when I see one, I go inside.
So you sprayed the house, right? Because you said there's a spray that keeps snakes away. So you just sprayed the house, right?
That is what my lawn guy said. Now, I don't know. I don't know. But that's what he said. And he sprayed for the spiders too. And I hadn't seen any more of the Joro spiders at summer. But now summer is in full swing. I am seeing spider webs everywhere outside. There was even spider webs on my car because I don't go nowhere. So there was spider webs on the car.
That's pretty bad. Time out. That is pretty bad. You got spider webs on your car.
Pretty bad.
I need you to start going somewhere. Go to the grocery store or something. Like get up.
I know. I need to. I need to.
Get up.
You're right. You're right.
I know. Going to the gym every day.
I'm working on it in therapy. Okay.
All right. So back to these JJC spiders. Alexis Schultz, co-author of the study and a third-year ecological student at the University of Georgia, said in a news release, "I don't know how happy people are going to be about it, but I think these spiders are here to stay." So basically, they adapt to this environment really well.
Yeah.
They done made a home, and they ain't leaving, and they here, no. and there's plenty of prey for them to focus on. It doesn't really talk on what they prey on, but they get spider webs. It's probably insects. It's probably the main thing. It's not out here. They're not out here eating rodents. It's not that type of spider. Only the super tarantulas and arachnophobia do that.
Yeah, but they are venomous. They rarely bite humans, and their venom is not deadly. They're not like black widows or what's the other one? A brown recluse, which I'm sure I have those too. I don't know.
See, man,
but but their venom is not deadly, but Yeah, they are venomous, but what I hear is that they're shy, so they don't
Yeah,
come
okay.
around people. But I'm like, but at the same time, they thrive in urban areas.
Right. Yeah, come on
Don't
now.
sound that shy to me. It sound like they here to stay, and y'all better get that spider spray.
And look, I don't be trusting people when they say, "Oh, that's like the." And I love dogs. I
Mm,
love dogs. But
mm.
when some dogs look a little aggressive, and then the parent says, "Oh, she's shy," and I'm like, "She don't look shy," and I'm a
No,
dog person. You can pet her.
yeah,
Nah, I'm good.
I'm
So when you
fine.
say the spiders are shy, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah,
And
we'll
you say
see.
they're venomous, but it's non-lethal. But you know what that also means? It also means it's going to give you like a nasty rash. And I
Yep.
would almost rather have the venom than a nasty rash because you know I'm vain.
The rash will go away.
Well,
No, you
sometimes it stays forever.
put some cortisone cream on it. You be all right.
Sometimes it's like Keith Sweat and it make it last forever.
No, that's not what happens.
So
But yeah, that's what I'm living through down here.
look, let me tell you something. Like I said, August gonna be the last time I visit. I got a friend that just bought a house right out near George Washington's house. Right, it's like in that same neighborhood. It's a really nice
Mhm.
house, beautiful house.
Yeah.
Right, and she told me she was downstairs in the basement. They're getting some remodeling done, and there was a black rat snake that was just hanging on the outside of the door of the
No.
back door of the basement,
No, thank
and
you.
just hanging there in between the door and the screen. And I
No,
was like, okay, yeah, no, that's not cool at all. And
no.
she said the same thing that you said, that they got somebody out there to spray. Supposedly the spray thing is, I guess, real because she said that she hasn't seen it in a month, but then said that she was walking her daughter in the
Uh-huh.
neighborhood and saw another one of those snakes. It might have been the same snake. I don't know. Maybe it's
Could
a
have
whole
been.
family of them, but just
Could
just
also be.
just slithering across the street. And I said, yo, when you have your housewoman, I'll do it virtually.
Yeah.
She's like, what you mean? I'm not coming to your house because you got
Yeah.
black rat snakes all around. And those things aren't small. Those things are like
No.
4 to 5 feet long. I'm not,
Yeah.
no. These
Or
JoJo bean
you get
spiders,
you some steel toe boots, some galoshes or something, and just walk up there. You take your boots off when you get in the house.
no, I need a whole bodysuit. That's what I
Hey,
need. I'm not messing with them. Talking about some boots. No, I need a whole hazmat suit.
just take high steps.
Yeah, okay.
Just lift your knees, take high steps, and you'll be all right.
My name is not Marcus Allen. I don't know how to take no high step. I'm not no NFL running back. Okay. I'm just,
Okay, thank you for putting
I
some
because
because
I do a
I was
lot.
like,
She was like, who is
who's
Marcus
Marcus
Allen?
Allen?
And I guarantee you there are going to be people listening to this that was born in the 2000s that
Mhm.
watch football and don't know who Marcus Allen is. Marcus Allen was a Hall of Fame running back for the Oakland Raiders. He was the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
And also, they said I looked like him and my younger self. And that's what I said at my Mr. High School pageant that I was voted on as a freshman.
Now, who you say? What's this man? Because now
Marcus Allen.
I got to see this because
They said I looked like him
no,
when I was younger.
Bruce.
Yeah, what's up?
That's because we grew up in the middle of nowhere,
Right,
Maryland.
this is
You
true.
don't look. I mean, Virginia. You
Virginia.
don't look nothing like. I'm
Well,
looking
right
at
now,
young pictures of him. I'm
yeah,
looking at
no.
young pictures of him, and I'm thinking of you when you were young, and you're just both black guys, and that's it.
That's what I said too. I was like, I don't like Loon. I was like, I don't get it. Why do y'all sound like Marcus Allen?
No.
That was the. Oh, anyway, so these JoJo Bean spiders is out here.
Yeah.
They thriving in this environment. We've been gone long talking about these spiders. I got nothing else to say about these spiders or just snakes. I know that there's a purpose for everything. I just don't think that they should be anywhere near me. That's all.
No, now some stuff can go extinct. Like I feel like mosquitoes. Those can go ahead and go extinct.
I'm sure mosquitoes have a purpose.
No, they
Yeah,
can't
no,
possibly. They
no,
can't possibly. They're not like bees. They don't pollinate nothing. They're tearing my legs up.
yeah, well, that's what they do.
Every time I go and walk the dogs, I come back and I'm just putting on Benadryl and cortisone cream and fighting for my life because they are tearing me up out here. and you can't tell me that they have any possible purpose. I'm sure somebody on YouTube is going to be like, oh, mosquitoes saliva is
But why do they
essential.
talk with a lisp? Okay, why
I
do
don't
they talk with a
know.
lisp?
I don't know, because that's how I see them in my head. But they consider their saliva is key to. I don't care. I really don't. I really don't care. I'm tired of them. And I feel like it's 2024. Why don't we have something better than off spray and citronella candles, which don't work, to deal with mosquitoes? This don't make no sense. Get rid of them. That's it. That's my rant about that. I don't know.
All right.
Get rid of them.
And on that note, we're going to pay some bills, and then we're going to come back talking about things that we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of this next person that we're talking about. And I am going to make the phrase popular, Uncle Clarence, no longer Uncle Tom, because I've already done an episode of how Uncle Tom isn't the right phrase to be used.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Clarence. But we're not talking about Clarence Thomas. We're talking about another Uncle Clarence. We're going to get into that next. All right, Jay.
Yeah.
You sent me something, you wanted to talk about it, and I was like, okay, we can talk about it. I saw it earlier in the week, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I really don't want to address this because it's so stupid. But it is also important.
Yes, because
it is important.
This person has the potential to possibly be the VP of the United States of America.
Who are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about Byron Donalds, the representative from Florida.
And if you don't know who that is, you're not missing much.
Well, you might know him because he was the lone Black representative during that whole House vote to find a new speaker that was nominated for a quick second, but then voted for, who's it? Steve? But I think he put his vote in for Jim Jordan.
Yeah. Let me tell you something about Byron Donalds. I'm sure that most places he's the lone Black voice there.
Well, him and Tim Scott. Anyway, so what did he do? Why are we talking about him? During a Black voter outreach event for former President Donald Trump. So let's just, before I get into the details, let's just examine that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Black voter outreach event.
Yes.
For Donald Trump.
Yes.
I've said it before, and people try to say that he's not, but at the very least, if he isn't racist, he's a bigot.
He definitely has it in his lineage.
Well, yeah, because there's some stories out there that his dad was in the KKK, but okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what did Byron Donalds do at this Black voter outreach event for former President Donald Trump? He suggested that Black families were more unified and better off during the Jim Crow era. He made these remarks just Tuesday, June the 5th of 2024.
Was the 4th.
Tuesday was so it was Wednesday. So Tuesday, June 4th, right? Okay. Wasn't Wednesday. It was Tuesday, June 4th, because it wasn't yesterday. He suggested that things had gotten worse for Black people after they embraced Democrats following President Lyndon Baines Johnson's enactment of the Great Society programs in 1960s. I'm going to get into the Great Society programs first. Later. We're going to talk about Byron.
Let's be clear, because I watched the video of his little comment, because I was like, let me see this in context.
Okay.
And that's I'm typically not the let me get the backstory type of person.
No, that's
if I see it and it looks like trash, I'm just gonna call it trash. I don't need the backstory. So I said, let me hear it in context. He never said that Black families were better off during Jim Crow.
Okay.
What he said was that Black families were stronger or more unified during that era. So he's not saying like Jim Crow was the cause of Black families being more unified. He used the Jim Crow era just to talk about that time period. Now, what
Did
he
he
could
bring up
have
Jim
said,
Crow at all? Did he bring up Jim Crow at all? Did he
he
say it?
did. He did.
Okay.
He did. He said, now during Jim Crow, he said that. So,
Okay,
yeah.
so he's implying that during Jim Crow, black people were
Yes.
better off. Black families were
But the,
better off.
but the implication the implication is like Jim Crow, black families were better off in the Jim Crow era.
It kind of feels like that's what he said.
And far be it from me, Lord, it literally tastes like vomit in my mouth.
You know what? We did a role reversal.
Byron Donalds.
We did a role reversal on this
We
episode
did.
because it's typically me being put in this position, but now it's you.
Yes.
It sucks, doesn't it?
So this is his explanation when he was asked on CNN to explain why. I mean, I know sis wanted to say it this way, so I'm gonna say it this way. Why the hell did you link them two things together, the black family and Jim Crow? Like, that's what I would have.
It was my girl Abby, because she right down the road from me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I got a little thing for her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, she's a beautiful woman. Anyway,
if you watch it,
he was just saying, I was just talking about that era. Well, brother, you could have said in the late 19th century, early 20th century. That's what you could have said. And then to add on to it, but after Johnson's The Great Society, it fell apart. You are talking about specifically the Jim Crow era.
Yeah, that's what, yes.
Yeah, but I'm telling you what his explanation of this was. Oh, I just meant that time period. I was just talking about the time period. I'm not saying that black people were better off under Jim Crow.
Right.
He was just saying during the era when Jim Crow. And I'm just like, the two words Jim and Crow shouldn't have come out your mouth, homie. Like, it just shouldn't have.
Yeah. It shouldn't have.
It just shouldn't have.
If his argument, and later he kind of makes this argument. He made it then, but he gets more specific later. Mm-hmm. If his argument was that the social programs enacted by President Johnson's Greater Society program crippled black families because of, I don't know, what people love to call entitlement programs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which are really just the same social programs most industrialized nations offer their citizens.
Yeah. So if he made that argument, I wouldn't agree with him. I would still think that he was wrong, but at least I would say, okay, I kind of try to see where he's trying to come from.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the correlation that he's trying to make.
I think that is the correlation he's trying to make.
Okay.
That these social programs, because remember, this is a guy who's in the Freedom Caucus.
Yeah.
He decries socialism, doesn't think Biden is the legitimate president. So he is talking about these social programs, and socialism is the reason why the black family has disintegrated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was very clear. He wants to go back
to Jim Crow. Okay, I'm going to let you handle this because I think it's funny. I know I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond to this because then I'm going to get into Johnson's Great Society program and what it was specifically. But what was the response that certain members of Congress had to Byron Donalds, hey, things were better before, let's just say not when it was in Jim Crow. Let's just say that he's saying that things were better before Lyndon Johnson's programs.
He's saying things were better before the civil rights era.
That's what he's saying. Yes.
That's what he's saying.
Because it's the same era. It's the same thing.
So in USA Today, House Majority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Democrat from New York, condemned what he called, quote, outlandish, outrageous, and out of pocket. And I said, that's the 3 O's right there. Outlandish, outrageous, and out of pocket statements made by Rep. Byron Donalds of Florida about the Jim Crow era. So this is the quote. Like, this is what Byron actually said. He said, quote, you see, during Jim Crow, the black family was together. During Jim Crow, so he says it twice, more black people were not just conservative. Black people have always been conservative minded, but more black people voted conservatively. And Hakeem Jeffries called out the Florida lawmaker during a short House floor speech the next day. And he said, quote, "It has come to my attention that a so-called leader has made the factually inaccurate statement that Black folks were better off during Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be systematically lynched without consequence. How dare you make such an ignorant observation? This is my favorite thing. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself." Thank you, Hakeem Jeffries. You are a delight.
That the 1990s slang.
Yes. He
And
called
said,
him out of pocket and said, check yourself
before you wreck yourself. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. All right. So he's attacking Lyndon Baines Johnson's social programs, and everybody that's an avid listener to this show or watcher, you know, 10,000 subscribers.
We on all platforms, baby.
We on all platforms.
Yeah.
Knows how I feel about Lyndon Baines Johnson, my favorite president of all time. Okay.
It was one time, this is a short segue, but it's related to Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Okay.
You know that I am not a history person because I have a short attention span and an even shorter memory. So I never know when things happened. If you ask me, Jono, when was World War I? Couldn't tell you. Okay. Don't
Jesus
know.
Lord. Okay.
Early 20th century, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that is true. It was,
Yes.
it was, I think
I
it
can
was
give
literally 1914 through 1918, I think was World War I believe.
I can give you the century. Okay. But I was in class, I was in college, and the teacher had asked a question, and it was the first time that I knew the answer. And the answer was Lyndon Baines Johnson. I just knew it. I just knew it. Before I could raise my hand and give my fully correct answer, someone else raised their hand and answered Andrew Johnson. And the teacher said correct, and I was dead ass wrong. But
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
not even close. I was not even close. Don't remember what the question was, but I wasn't even close. But I did remember.
Probably who was the president after Lincoln? Because I believe that was Andrew Johnson. By the way, I was right. World War I was between 1914 and 1918. And I believe the president after Lincoln was Andrew Johnson. But we can look into that later. We don't have to look at that right now. I want to get into Lyndon Baines Johnson's Great Society.
Yes.
Okay. So Lyndon Baines Johnson's Great Society was a set of domestic programs launched in the United States between 1964 and 1965, the height of the Civil Rights Movement, by the way. The main goal was the total elimination of poverty, racial injustice, reduce crime, and improve the environment. So what Lyndon Baines Johnson was trying to do was to create a utopia. Now, there are going to be some cynics out there who's like, no, that stuff can't exist. And maybe not. But how do we know unless we try? And who wouldn't want to try to eliminate poverty, eliminate racial injustice, reduce crime, and improve the environment? Even Republicans can agree on reducing crime.
Yeah.
Okay. So here were some of the key programs and initiatives. Aid to education. This was one of the first broad federal investments in elementary and high school education. Medicaid and Medicare. That's right. Lyndon Baines Johnson is the reason why you have Medicare and Medicaid. And I know a lot of my senior citizens out there like, oh, I did not realize that. Yes, it was Lyndon Baines Johnson.
You were alive.
Well, yes. Well, they were. Okay. Well,
you boomer.
They were alive, but they may have just been kids. I mean, some of them could have just been kids. These, of course, Medicare, these were healthcare supports that greatly aided the elderly, poor, and others. Okay.
And by others, they mean people of color.
Yes, that's what that means.
That's what it always means.
Urban renewal and beautification. These programs aid aim to improve the living condition in urban areas. Now, urban areas are typically code word for black and poor. Black and poor. Guess what? These are major cities. New York City is an urban area.
Yes.
Washington, D.C. is an urban area. Atlanta,
Yes.
Georgia is an urban area. I know all these, and I know a few people that live in these small towns and just like, oh, those areas are so disgusting. Well, they're highly populated. And if you had programs that would renew and beautify these areas, guess what? You'll have a lot less crime when you have pleasant places to live. This is part of the efforts to reduce crime. Okay.
The only problem is that when we do that to urban areas now, you guys jack up the rent and the cost of literally everything, and you push poor folks who have been living there for decades out, and you move in, and anybody that's still there, you make it utterly impossible for them to want to stay.
That's called gentrification. Also, conservation and development of depressed regions. This aimed to improve the economic conditions of the economically backward regions. So, what were these regions? Lyndon Baines Johnson was a poor boy from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know some of these rural areas in Texas, they are out there and real rural. I mean, Shannon Sharp, the announcer or the talking head for Shannon Sharp's podcast and First Take and all these other things, openly talks about he grew up in Georgia and they had an outhouse. This man is not 100 years old. This man is in his 50s, right?
No.
There are a lot of people in flyover states that don't have broadband internet. I know people in urban areas, this is a shock to you, but there are people out there that are literally doing that dial-up.
And that is all that is available.
Because that's all that's available. He also had the war on poverty. Johnson introduced the Office of Economic Opportunity and the Economic Opportunity Act to help the underprivileged break the poverty cycle by helping them develop job skills, further their education, and find work. So this was a thing that ended right around my time in high school. One of my high schools in Lynchburg, Virginia was the last one to have any one of the type of these programs. Back in the day in high school, you could actually go to enter in programs that would teach you a trade so that you could have a job after you graduated high school, because not everybody was going to college. You could be a plumber, a car mechanic, an electrician. The things that we have to pay to go to school to get certifications to learn to do now was offered in high school to give people an opportunity. And notice he said underprivileged. He didn't say black or brown.
Right.
There's a lot of poor white people that mines were closing. Coal was shutting down.
The majority of poor
jobs.
people in the United States, white.
Right.
There are a lot of rural areas that are not as economically developed as, these coastal elite areas.
Right.
Right.
And so when people talk about, and I love it when certain Trump supporters say that black people have more rights than them. And these are white people. And I'm like, can you list off the rights? Because I would love to know what I have access to that you don't have.
Name half of one. I don't even need you to name a full one. Give me half.
And so they'll say, well, you have better opportunities. And I'm like, you know what? You might be right, because I live in an urban area that will give me a little bit better opportunities, and you live in a rural area, but I'm not the cause of that. What's the cause of that is all of these Republicans who are cutting down these programs that a Democratic president had instituted to help you. I'm not the detriment to you. The people that you're voting for are the detriment to you. They're the ones.
In other words, you are the detriment to you.
Yep. You're voting against yourself. So the control and prevention of crime and delinquency, this was aimed at reducing crime rates and preventing juvenile delinquency, taking them kids that's out there on the streets that dropped out of school, taking their ass right back to school. Go in there and learn your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s so that you could go out here and make some money, make a living honestly, instead of having to rob and kill and shoot for the dollar bill. Now, I just made up that just now, and I think it sounds good.
And we're not saying that those things aren't cool. and that they don't look cool, and they got all the
No,
money
no,
and the
no.
Cadillacs
Time
and
out.
all of that.
We are saying those things are not cool.
Oh, we're still on the air?
Yeah. All right. Okay. And the last thing that he did was the removal of obstacles to the right to vote. This was aimed at ensuring all citizens, regardless of their race or ethnicity, had the right to vote. Because remember,
Yeah.
there was a whole thing where they were denying Black people the right to vote. Right.
Sure
And I
were.
know some people out there actually wish that would be the case. And I do wish there was a competency test. Are you smart enough? Do you understand what's going on before you vote?
Right.
But then again, we can't do that. Everybody should have a
No.
right to vote. These programs.
Everybody, even if you committed a crime.
Okay, here we go. Now, here's the kicker, because Byron Donald said that the Black family has gone down by leaning into Democrats and based off of Lyndon Baines Johnson's policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the basis of his argument. Here's the catch. These programs expanded under the administrations of Republican presidents, Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford. Many of these programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, the Older Americans Act, and federal education funding, continue today. So his argument was that Black people was better off when they were in Jim Crow and they wasn't voting for Democrats, and they weren't getting these programs that Lyndon Baines Johnson was instituted. What he failed to mention is that the preceding Republican presidents expanded upon those programs. It was not until Reagan came along that they started cutting these programs, because even Nixon and Gerald Ford agreed, hey, get people educated, get people jobs. That's going to help reduce crime, get people good health care, make sure they're healthy so that they can work to booster their economy. It all works out.
Yeah.
The economy does need workers, and we do need plumbers, electricians, car mechanics. We do need these things.
Yes.
So basically, Byron Donalds is an idiot. That's the reason why I call him Uncle Clarence, because I don't know what his point was. The Black family is not better under Republican president. They weren't that far off with Nixon and Gerald Ford, because they still continued the programs.
Right.
It started with Reagan eliminating these programs. So if he wants to talk about them Republican presidents, okay, we can talk about that Republican president. But Bush W. and Herbert Walker did not reduce Medicare and Medicaid. Now, some of these other programs they did, but
they knew that one day they too would get old.
Right.
They knew that one day they too would get old. Now, they wouldn't necessarily need Medicaid, which is why there are so many states, mostly here in the South, that refuse to expand Medicaid, even though the federal funding is there for them to do it. So they don't care as much about Medicaid, but because Medicaid is for what? For poor people, right?
Poor people,
but Medicare, right, is just it's supposed to be for old people, right? Oh, and for people with certain terminal illnesses and things like that. So they are not going to vote against themselves. Yeah, they're going to vote to keep Medicare up.
Well, I will also say that the older people are a larger voting bloc than poor people.
True.
Not to say that there aren't more older people than there are poor people. I don't know what the demographics are there. It might be. But older people are going to vote, and they're going to vote on everything. They ain't got nothing else to do. They just sitting around retired. They ain't paying attention to politics. So you're going to make sure that you cater to the senior citizens. Now, the poor folks, most of the time, since voting day is not a national holiday where everybody gets off of work, which is what it should be, most of the time people can't get off of work. And you can only vote during working hours. Very rarely do they extend the hours. That's a new thing.
Yeah, that's new. I know here we can vote, I believe, until 7.
Okay, well, 7. I mean, what time people normally get off work?
But I don't, listen, that's not an excuse, because you could send in an absentee ballot or something like, you could, there's early voting, you don't have to vote on election day.
Yeah, you're right.
Get your ass out there. Vote.
Yeah. And so, Byron Donalds, you need to check yourself because you already wrecked yourself.
Boy.
All right, sis, for the final segment, we're going to go back to talking about Corey Harris. Now,
My favorite person.
if y'all don't know about Corey Harris, on the last Sibling Happy Hour show, we talked about Corey Harris. He was the one that was driving and got on his Zoom court. And the Zoom court was for him driving on a suspended license. So
Yes.
he had a suspended license case hearing.
And showed up
driving.
Showed up driving. Yes.
And so we had a field day with that, laughing and giggling because it was crazy that he would do that. Then some news came out and he got some sympathy. Why did he get sympathy, Jay?
Well, the story out there, which I immediately did not believe.
Because I sent it to you. I sent it to you and I was like, and there was a comment on Instagram on YouTube. There was like, this segment came out and I was like, we'll approach it, but we got to do a little bit more research.
Right.
I'm not going off of what you said, but I got to do a little bit more research.
I'm going off the video I watched in which this man said nothing in his own defense. So the story that came out after, and it wasn't a story. I think it was like a tweet or something.
No, there was a story. Some local news organizations were reporting this.
Okay. Because
there is some truth to this.
That it was a clerical error. His license was never supposed to be suspended. And so he's actually innocent. That's what this, and I immediately
said. Right. So the truth of the matter was there wasn't a clerical error. Harris tried to blame the fact that his driving record was still listed as suspended on the Saginaw court, saying that they were to blame for the suspension not being lifted in a child support case. All right. So I guess your license gets suspended if you don't pay your child support in Michigan.
Yes.
After a judge ordered that suspension to be lifted. However, court officials said Harris never paid his fees to the clerk's office, so a clearance was never sent to Secretary of State. So he said, well, the judge said it was lifted. And maybe it would have been lifted, but he ain't paid no fees to get it lifted. Like there's always fees to get to set up, right? So that's what everybody was jumping on after the story broke about him driving in the car during the Zoom hearing.
Yeah. But listen to why this don't make no damn sense. Okay. And listen, a cursory glance at this, it don't make no damn sense. This man was in court for a traffic violation of driving on a suspended license.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So whether he believed that suspension should have been lifted or not, it wasn't. When he got pulled over and they ran his license, it came back suspended. So a reasonable person would think, my license is still suspended. Don't know the reason why. The judge told me it was lifted. Now, I didn't pay my fees and stuff like I was supposed to, but the judge told me it was lifted. But what you do know is that according to the person who pulled you over, whatever officer pulled you over, you have a suspended license, you got a court date to go to court, and at that point, you can defend yourself. And this man decided.
He was driving his sick wife. He was driving his sick wife to the doctor.
Did he say that or you said that?
No, that's what he said. During an interview with the newspaper article, he was like, I'm driving my sick wife to the doctor. You know, when he was pulling in, when he was whipping into the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to, there's going to be some people, because this will probably get clipped up in one of our little YouTube shorts, that are going to say, but it was something where it got lifted. And I'm going to say, here's where everything falls apart. Because he had a hearing this past Wednesday, yesterday, June the 5th. Yes. And in that hearing, during the hearing, Judge Cedric Simpson, the same judge that he had when he was on that Zoom hearing, revealed that Harris has never had a valid driver's license in Michigan. or any other state.
Mm-hmm.
During the hearing with Harris and his new attorney, 7 News Detroit asked Harris if he had a valid driver's license. He said he didn't recall. A spokesperson for the Secretary of State said they could confirm that Harris has never had a valid driver's license now that the judge has made the information public. So for all those people that were defending him and saying, see, they screwed him. No, my man has never, it was a suspended license.
It gets better.
I know it gets better. I'm going to get to that.
Yeah, okay.
He has never had a valid driver's license ever anywhere. In his life.
Yes.
Never. All right. Do you want to break the news, or you want me to break the news?
No, this was another part of it, which is since he was the age of 18, he has gone faithfully to get an ID.
Yeah, no, that's that. Did you read the rundown notes?
Oh,
it's in the rundown notes. I said that.
Oh,
why, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll go take a peek behind the curtain.
I do read the rundown.
I do a rundown, right? As a producer of the show.
Yes.
I produced the show. There's a rundown. So we know what we're going to talk about. We don't know what we're going to say, but we know there's bullet points. It's an outline to the show, right? I literally had this. That's the reason why I said, hey, do you want me to let you say it? And you were like, no, I'll let you say it. We went on to say the exact same, but you didn't even do it as well as I was going to say it. That's the thing.
But, let me also just say, you jump around with the bullet points. So I'm trying to follow you. Okay. I'm trying to follow you. So I didn't know which bullet point you were actually talking about.
Okay.
Because you jumped back up to the top. So
You're right. I
was just like, let me insert this here because it seems like this is the place to put it.
Okay. You're right. I do be jumping around. I get to the segment and I do jump around because my thoughts,
Yeah.
ADHD. All right. So this was the point. This was the point that you were making.
Yeah.
Judge Simpson noted additional evidence that Harris knew that he never had a valid driver's license by the fact that Harris has faithfully renewed his state identification every year.
Mm-hmm.
The end of the hearing, Judge Simpson revealed that Harris has a bench warrant for his arrest. Harris was stunned when at the end of the hearing Wednesday, when Judge Simpson revealed that he had a bench warrant. This was what Harris's defense attorney said. It should be something of a lesson for all of us, said Diane Webster Cox, Harris' new defense attorney.
I think it's
handle your business at the end of the day. Handle your business.
Period. And I said, after I saw that video, that Corey Harris looks like he drives without a license all the time. Okay? It's because of the way he showed up. First of all, he was late to the Zoom to his court date.
He late,
logs
whipping
in, phone in his hand, and he's whipping. And hold on a second. And he's telling everybody, judge, prosecutor, to hold on a second while he whips it into this parking lot. Knowing he ain't got no license. He ain't never had a license.
He never had a license.
And so his license suspension as part of the child support being in arrears, right? Mm-hmm. That's just one of the things that they do. They didn't go and check to see if he had a valid driver's license to suspend. They were like, you got a license, it's suspended.
Which, okay, there are going to be people out there. Okay, but there are going to be people out there who be like, but if they didn't know, then why is it such a big deal? Because he knew. He was driving without a license. And this was a grown man. Look, I'm about to be 44 years old. He got me by at least 10. Actually, no. It looks like he got me by like 10, 15 years. He is exactly my age.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing. So he's known that he hasn't had a driver's license for the last 28 years because you get it at 16. 16 plus 28 equals 44. So he's known for 28 years, okay, that he ain't had no license. And I know what other people are going to say. Well, maybe he was confused and he thought the state ID was his driver's license. He ain't never taken no tests.
He never took a test. Even to get your learner's permit, you got to take a written test. He has never taken a driver's ed course. He has never.
Well, maybe he did back in the day.
No.
You're just assuming. You just maybe he did back in the day.
Taken driver's ed and passed the course, the natural next step is to go get your driver's license. He has never taken a driver's ed course. He has never gone and taken a written test. He ain't taken a road test. He ain't done none of that.
Maybe he thought his state ID was his driver's license.
No.
Maybe he thought he had a driver's license because they suspended it.
Nobody has ever checked his eyesight. Nobody has ever evaluated this man on his ability to drive on public roads. And he knows that. He's not dumb.
And
he is dumb. He doesn't have common sense.
Right. Look, and like his attorney, Diane Webster Cox said, handle your business.
Dion.
Huh? Is it Dion?
Yeah.
Okay. Dion, Miss Webster Cox. How about that?
Yes.
Esquire, handle your business. At the end of the day, handle your business. And he didn't handle it.
He did not do so.
That's the reason why his ass is in jail right now. And ladies and gentlemen, all those people was like, see, the media and everything jumping on it was a clerical error. No. This just came out yesterday. We got the updated information. I'm letting you know what it was because somebody hit me with it earlier today and said, are y'all going to talk about this? That everybody ran that man all through the mud and it was a messed up error. And I was like, nope. And I'm going to explain it all during the show because I got all the information.
Yeah.
Let it be known. We do our research on here. We halfway journalists. Halfway.
I
Almost.
I took a journalism class once.
I was in journalism. That was my first major. I wrote for the school newspaper. I was a columnist more than actual like a journalist, but same thing.
Who cares? I mean,
You got anything else to say about Corey Harris?
Listen, if there's a fee, call them up. If you ain't got it, they understand. Like a lot of times people don't have it. But if there's a fee or a fine or something that you owe, handle your business. Call them up. Say, I don't have it. What can I do? These courts, they'll work with you. Nobody is they'll work with you. They'll set up a payment plan. But he was already behind in his child support. So he damn sure wasn't about to pay no court fees. Okay?
And then tried to blame it on the county. He tried to blame it on the county.
I don't have nothing against Corey Harris. What I have is a problem with people who don't take accountability for their own crap.
Yeah. And
are willfully stupid.
And here's the thing. 7 News Detroit straight up asked him, do you have a valid driver's license? And he was like, I don't recall. You recall.
That's ridiculous.
You recall. You never had a driver's license ever in any state.
Ever had it.
And the judge was like, look, you ain't never had no driver's license. I'm not trying to hear this. You ain't never had no driver's license nowhere, anywhere. Not in the state of Michigan, not in Illinois, not in DC, not in anywhere in the 50 states.
And
not overseas.
Because I'm sure the judge saw that little story come out and was like, oh no, y'all not going to make it seem like I did something wrong here. Let me look up and see if this man ever had a driver's license. Oh, I guarantee
you during that hearing, the initial hearing, he already had this information. The prosecution probably had this information. They had all the information that they needed.
Yeah.
But all he was going to get was a little fine. He wasn't going to go to jail. The reason why he went to jail is because he was whipping into the parking lot during the Zoom hearing. Hold up real fast. I'm about to park. Corey Harris. Whew, that's all I got to say. But on that note, Jay, what do you want to tell the people out here?
Handle your business. At the end of the day, handle your business.
And on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Whew. That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling genuine and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciated. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.
Freedom over fame, the cycle stays the same. Freedom over cycle stays the same.